I don't think the NBA All-Star Game need gimmicks. The skills challenge you don't need. We know, at least we hope, that an NBA player who practices 6 hours a day at minimum can throw a ball through a tire. What's up, scorers? Welcome back to the channel. And we got a busy week in the world of basketball. But before I start, I want to make sure you guys know we got a merch page. Brainwashed to think elite hoodies are on sale right now. We got shorts, we got t-shirts, we got everything for you to let everyone else know that you have an elite mindset and you're a true scorer. So go check out our merch page, scoresociety.com. Now, let's get right into it. I want to talk about how you guys were wrong. I told you guys were going to be wrong. Yeah, Bronny James showing up. He might not be showing up in the NBA. And I said this on my last video. That's okay. Right now, he's a G League player. And in his G League, he doing his thing. This past week, he had 24 points and 5 assists. All you guys who are hating out there, oh, he shouldn't have made it. Oh, he took somebody else's spot. Look, the 55th pick typically plays in the G League and also plays in the NBA. He's a two-way player. He's been hitting some threes in the NBA, and he's doing his thing in the G League. This is a prime example of sometimes you can be in a system where you're not scoring a lot of points. But once you get in a more freelance environment, such as like professional basketball, you can kind of showcase your skills. Once you get a groove of things and start to develop, people will start to see why they picked you. And Bronny James is a fine example of that. And I knew he was going to be it. If you don't believe it, go back and check out the videos. I've talked about it with my guy, Craig Smith. I made personal videos about it. He just needed an opportunity to develop. And because media has hyped you guys up and telling you guys, oh, he only there because of his dad. There's a lot of NBA players with sons that don't make the NBA and they play basketball. I mean, shoot. Dwayne Wade's son in the NBA. And that's no knock on him. I'm just saying, before y'all start hating, y'all got to check the facts. But Bronny is showing that in a few years, maybe next year, he belongs. The next matter at hand, I want to talk disappointment. The first disappointment is Wemby. I get it, man. Like, the NBA players, things happen. I'm not knocking him for having a blood clot in his shoulder, but he was one of my favorite players to watch. I was looking forward to seeing him on primetime TNT, primetime ESPN Friday nights, and I was hoping to even maybe something change and turn around after the All-Star break and they can sneak into a playoff game. I was hoping for that. But unfortunately, he's out for the rest of the season. This is concerning for me because he's young and he's already out for the season. Now, blood clots can usually be solved. It's not like a knee injury. It's not like an ankle injury. It's something that can be solved. But man, out so soon, out so early. This is one of the letdowns for the NBA because you have these good players who can really play, and they get these injuries. And to see Wemby, who was having a phenomenal year, who was one of the players who was working really hard in the All-Star game, go out for a season in the injury is definitely a letdown. So rest up, Wemby. Hope you get better. And we see you next year. Now, my next disappointment, Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid may have to undergo surgery and maybe out for the rest of the season, which is extremely disappointing. Not because he's injured, just because he's a tremendous talent, and this is all we know of him. All we know is, will Joel be healthy? Another disappointment is that he's playing for my Philadelphia 76ers, a hometown. And I believe the front office for the Sixers has been very patient with him. They've been giving him nothing but more money, more opportunities between every injury. He's shown tremendous skill, tremendous talent over the past few years, but just not consistent. And at this point, it's a toss-up. Do we let him go, just tank, figure out something else? Or do we still believe in him? I mean, let's think about it. Joel Embiid was drafted 2014. He didn't play a healthy season until 2016. So that means he started his career off unhealthy. Well, year 11. Great kid, can really ball. But how much of the process do we need to trust at this point? He was the reason why we was trusting the process. He had some sparks in his career where he gave Philadelphia 76ers some hope. He gave the city of Philly some hope. But being injured, and you should be in your prime right now, and you're about to undergo another season-ending injury, I don't think we can trust the process anymore. I think we need to trust the trade deadlines. It's just not looking good for the Sixers. You got Paul George over there. I like Paul George. Paul George was a phenomenal player. I'm not going to say podcast took his game away. I'm not going to call him Podcast P like everyone else is. But the Sixers need him. And you got the young boy Maxey. He doing his thing, but he's still a little young to lead the veterans. So the only thing you really can start doing right now, if you're a 76ers GM, the only thing you can hope for if you're a 76ers fan is they start building around Tyrese Maxey. Paul George is great. We thought it would work. It didn't. So now I think it's time we say, hey, let's count our losses. We've trusted the process long enough. Let's start building around Tyrese Maxey. The next disappointment is Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis has been suspended for 25 games. He's been suspended for taking a banned substance for pain relief called tramadol. Apparently, his assistants gave him something that they thought was Toradol. Toradol is also a pain relieving medicine that is approved by the NBA. Tramadol is banned by the NBA. The reason why it's banned by the NBA is because it has opioid properties in it. And as we all know, with the opioid addiction, it is something that we all got to stay away from. He's saying it's an honest mistake. Do I believe that? I like to believe that. I like to give guys the benefit of the doubt. And I could be completely wrong, but I don't know why people want to ruin their career for pain relieving medicine. I also don't know how much pain was he in. They both sound alike. Tramadol, Toradol, Tramadol, Toradol. His assistant might be his homie, might be a friend of his. He might have grabbed the wrong thing. He might have asked the wrong person. I don't think guys is doing enough research on what their friends give them. They trust him. The good thing is he can still play in the playoffs. I just hate to hear stuff like that where you make a mistake and it can cost you some games of your career, maybe cost you some money, and also cost the team. Bobby Portis was averaging about 16 points before all this happened. They're going to miss it. Now guys like Kyle Kuzma need to step up. Damian Lillard, he's going to do his thing. And Giannis, they're going to do his thing. But all the other guys need to step up, which I think they got enough pieces. I think they have some great pieces in there where they can still sustain their success throughout the season until Bobby Portis come back. But shout out to Bobby Portis, man. Let's get some real assistance, man. Let's get them around you. Make sure this type of stuff don't happen again. A couple weeks back, I said Jimmy Butler should go to a team that's not in a playoff running. Now, when I said that, the Warriors was in the 10th place. That's not the playoff running. So I was kind of right. But the way I said it, I was thinking more like the Wizards. But he went to the Golden State Warriors and they proved me wrong. He's doing his thing. Since Jimmy Butler been on the team, the Warriors been 6-1. I've been watching a couple games, and I'm not going to lie. They look serious on defense. Once they get Kuminga back and they got Draymond Green and they got Jimmy Butler all on defense, I think the Warriors can be a problem. I don't think it's the championship team yet. I don't think they got enough offensive horses, but new trades bring new energy. we might see Jimmy Butler, or is it playoff Jimmy, come out? Playoff Jimmy come out, ball out with Steph Curry. They can make some noise. I still don't see championship, but they can make some noise. But shout out to Jimmy Butler for proving me wrong. Got around some veteran guys that knew what they were doing. I also said that too. I didn't predict the Warriors. I predicted the Lakers when they had Anthony Davis. I said if Jimmy Butler goes to a team where they got veterans, where he doesn't feel the pressure to carry the scoring load, he can kind of fit in a way, fit in with his style of play, which is defending, which is getting buckets when needed. I think he'd be good. And the Warriors, and going with the Warriors proved me right. I was 85% right. I just thought they probably want to play with a team where, they probably couldn't make the playoffs at all. The Warriors was out of the playoff running. They can still make the playoffs, and they can make some noise in the playoffs. So shout out to Jimmy Butler for proving me wrong. Keep proving me wrong, because we love the competitive spirit that you bring. Leave the nonsense off the court, and let's hoop. So this segment is called Brainwash the Think Elite. And in this segment, we talk about trending topics, but we talk about it in an elite way. We don't talk about it in the way that everyone else is talking about it. And in today's topic, we're talking about the All-Star ratings, the All-Star game. Today, I was looking at Gil's Arena. Shout out to those guys, man. I love the debates. Keep it going. They pulled up a clip from Byron Scott's Fast Break. What Byron Scott was saying in the clip was they need to get back to the old way. They need to get back to how they did things in the 80s. And I understand what Byron Scott was saying. And I agree. I don't think the NBA All-Star game need gimmicks. I said this before. The skills challenge you don't need. We know, at least we hope, that an NBA player who practices 6 hours a day at minimum can throw a ball through a tire. We will hope that. We will hope they can hit consecutive threes with no one guarding them, consecutive 15-footers with no one guarding them. Not to mention, it's the point guards who doing it. Chris Paul, the most skilled guys you can find. I don't think we need it. The dunk contest is fine. The three-point contest is fine. The rookie challenge is fine. Maybe a celebrity all-star game in there, that also can work to give people opportunities and recognition. Kevin Hart can do his jokes there, but that's it. We don't need 3 hours of a bunch of hoopla and 40 minutes of basketball. I agree with Byron on that. But one of the things that stands out to me about this conversation is that everyone wants things to be what it used to be. We're never going to go back to how we used to shoot threes. It's only going to go up. And I don't think people understand what they're asking for. Randomly, I looked up Reggie Miller's stats. Reggie Miller was a premier three-point shooter in the 90s, early 2000s. And I wanted to, just for shits and giggles, I wanted to see how many threes, what's the most threes Reggie attempted in a game? He did this twice. It was 15. He took 15 threes. Steph Curry just shot 19 against the Lakers on a regular night. We're not going to get back to what it used to be. And the reason why we're not going to get back to what it used to be, because we have more skilled players now. There are players who are more skilled now. When you go back to the 90s and the 80s, if you took more than 4 threes, it was crazy. There was only maybe one guard on each team that was you can shoot the threes. And this ain't no offense, but everybody else was like Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson, when he played with the Pacers, walked the ball up, set the play up, kicked the ball, get out of the way, made some great decisions. John Stockton was a great shooter, but he didn't take a lot of threes. That was the NBA back then. Everyone just drove to the basket, shot 15-footers, or it was a big men era where they just back guys down. Who's going back to that? Do you see these guys in the NBA? Some of these guys don't even look like they lift weights. It's not going to happen. If anything, we need to embrace it. Things change. I think what we're struggling with is a change. I love Michael Jordan, but come on, let's be real. How can one player whose skill set was 20 to 30 years ago be better than someone who's playing at 40 and he's still playing at his prime? How can that, like, how he's just still like, nah, Jordan did it better? How? How when Jordan didn't even play against nobody hit his skill set? Yeah, he was first to do it, and he get all the praises and glory for that. For sure. He paved the way. For sure. But we can't say that's the best. Can't say that's the best. If you're not saying Reggie was a better shooter, Ray Allen was a better than Steph Curry, you know why you don't say that? Because Steph Curry has shown the most difficult ways you can shoot threes for the last 10 years. Things evolved. The All-Star game is getting complaints because we want to see better competition. We want to see you guys get after it full court, the best player, the best player, the player who's coming up, rising. Like, we want to see some rivals. We want to see some rivals. We want to see that Kobe Jordan matchup. We want to see somebody go at it. We want to be entertained. Shooting from half court is not entertaining. And that's all it is. But I wouldn't say we need to go back. I wouldn't say we need to go back because we don't need to go back. We got to start thinking upward. We got to start thinking outside the box with this. The kids today is not going to be what we grew up on because they didn't grow up the same way we grew up. We got to embrace it. There's nothing wrong with that. They're having fun. They're enjoying the game. They're enjoying the love of it. These guys are highly skilled at what they do. And I don't think what everyone is saying about like all the complaints about the NBA is true. Now, let's also talk about complaints. People complain now versus then is a little different. If we didn't like the All-Star game out back then, we just talked about it amongst our friends and probably didn't leave the house that we talked about it in. But now you got social media. And social media is tricky because everyone complains. You can't find something on social media that people don't complain about. I'll give you an example. I was watching this video, and it was a home improvement video where a guy, he made a door. He made a door for his garage where when his wife pulls in, she can put the groceries in this secret door or whatever, and that leads to the kitchen. So she goes up the steps, she put the groceries in the door, goes up the steps, open the door, and be able to grab it instead of carrying it up the steps, right? And I'm thinking to myself, wow, that is very convenient. I go look at the comments. First thing I read, another door for a robbery. I'm like, damn, how did y'all get to that? I can only imagine the rodents that can crawl through that door. What? That's where y'all went with that? Oh, man. People are so lazy. They just couldn't walk up 5 steps. Damn. That's the world we live in. People just complain. And then not only do people complain, there's a wide range of complaints. Give you another example. When I was young, of course you listen to music that your mom would be like, what is this? What are you listening to? And that's it. That's all she would say. Now, your mom got social media. So she could be in there complaining with the 20-year-olds. So now you got a bunch of people complaining from all ranges. From all ranges. The world is now in a melting pot of complaints. So even if they had a good all-star game, there's still going to be complaints because that's what happens when you give everyone a space and their own platform. They're going to complain about 90% of the things that's going on. Meanwhile, life still continues. The NBA is great, in my opinion. I think it's doing well. I'm entertained by the trades. I'm entertained by the skill level. I'm entertained by it all. Do I wish they had some rivalries in there where they just wanted to go at each other? Yeah, of course, man. We from America. We live off rivals. But the game is not bad. I think all the things surrounding it is bad. You can't just tune into one channel. You can't go, you got to do X, Y, and Z to watch a basketball game. You go watch the All-Star game. You got to watch a bunch of other stuff. Kevin Hart making jokes. That's the problem. Not Kevin Hart making jokes, but the problem is so many things around just the game. The average person works every single day. When that person gets off work, the only thing they're thinking about is, man, I just want to go watch the game. The Mavs and the Lakers are playing. I just want to get right to the game. They don't want to watch 1,010 commercials, 1,010 interviews. They don't want to do it. Because then it becomes a thing is, man, I've been watching TV for the last 3 hours and we only this third quarter. I got to go to sleep for work tomorrow. The less we can think about the entertainment, the better. Keep this in mind. When you see people complaining, take it with a grain of salt. YouTube has created a platform for people to leave comments. Most times, people not going to leave good comments. How many times you've walked down the street and you know you got a fly fit on? You know you got the latest sneakers on. And people be like, I like your shoes. Not often. You might hear it once or twice, but you don't walk past 30 people. Trust me, you're not going to get too many compliments. And that's our segment for Brainwash to Think Elite.